Coming up next on Arizona Horizon's Journalists Roundtable, serious charges against a former chairman of the State Corporation Commission, and a former attorney general gets a favorable ruling from the state Supreme Court. Journalists Roundtable is next on Arizona Horizon.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to Arizona Horizon's Journalists Roundtable. I'm Ted Simons. Joining us tonight, Mary Jo Pitzel of the Arizona Republic, Howard Fisher of Capital Media Services, and Luigi Del Puerto of the Arizona Capital Times. Former State Corporation Commission Chairman Gary Pierce was indicted in federal court this week on felony conspiracy, bribery, mail fraud, and 5 counts of wire fraud. Mary Jo, let's start at the beginning here. Who is Gary Pierce?
Gary Pierce is a former state lawmaker, then ran for the Arizona Corporation Commission, was the chairman of the Corporation Commission, and he's one of 4 people who were named in an indictment that was released this week involving basically a quid pro quo scheme in which he was successful in helping to alter Corporation Commission policies to benefit George Johnson, who runs a utility company in the Southeast Valley.
And who is George Johnson?
George Johnson is a developer, but he's mainly known among residents of the Southeast Valley and Pinal County for running a water company and a sewer company out there, and got himself in some hot water with Pinal County for some zoning issues, fairly controversial name. This comes down to a couple of questions over this Johnson Utilities. Number one, do you put a plant into rate base? You put more into rate base, you get more money. And number two, as Mary Jo pointed out, it was a question of could George Johnson take his personal income taxes from his income on Johnson Utilities and pass it on to ratepayers? Now, the fact is, both of those had been rejected by a prior commission going back as far as '09. It was Gary Pierce who crafted the new policy that said, yeah, we'll let it pass through.
What is the alleged price for crafting such new policy?
Well, the alleged price is $31,500 that was funneled to Gary Pierce. The money allegedly comes from or came from George Johnson, and it was the conduit for that amount is a longtime lobbyist, Jim Norton.
And who is Jim Norton?
Jim Norton is a veteran lobbyist, big deal at the Capitol, represents some of the major interests in the state.
Yeah.
Such as the Chamber of Commerce. Yeah. This year he was representing the Coyotes in their bid to try to move to Tempe. That didn't go very far.
And he's also the a senior partner with Axiom, a lobbying and campaign firm.
Yeah. What's going to be interesting is tying this together. I mean, we see that according to the indictment, George Johnson wrote checks to an unindicted co-conspirator. Unindicted co-conspirator then wrote checks to Sherry Pierce, who is Gary Pierce's wife. Norton was supposedly involved in some of the meetings and everything else. Now, what the government needs to prove is this quid pro quo. In other words, can you tie Gary's vote to this? Given that other commissioners also voted for these policies, and there's no allegation that the other commissioners were somehow, bought off.
But how did we come up with $31,000?
So the indictment alleged that the money, George Johnson was providing checks, writing checks to this unindicted co-conspirator who had created a consulting firm and essentially hired the services of Sherry Ann Pierce. And Gary's wife was sending invoices to this unnamed person. And the indictment, according to the feds, they were able to trace the money from George Johnson going to this unnamed person and then going to Sherry Ann Pierce.
And what's more important is what the indictment suggests is this was basically for doing nothing. That's the key. It's not that she actually provided this much in services, and that really is the key, because if in fact the services were provided, you sort of lose the nexus there.
Which is interesting because I looked at Gary Pierce's financial disclosure statements, which as a state office holder he's required to file every year. And for I think it's just 2 years that are in question while he was still in office when this was going on. And his wife does list it in the 2012 calendar year as her business, and her service was research.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now, the real question for everybody at the Capitol is, Who is this unindicted co-conspirator? That's the big game being played, because clearly if this person was the person taking check A, converting it to check B, was clearly involved with the thing, the assumption is this person played, let's make a deal with the Feds.
I was going to say unindicted means I'm helping.
Right,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and that's the question, because my guess is it may end up being a name that everybody at the Capitol is familiar with, and it's going to be real fascinating while we wait for that to be disclosed.
Lawmaker, lobbyist, what do you mean everyone's familiar with?
Well, my guess is that it's probably somebody who has some lobbying background, who formed this consulting firm that's being run through there. As I say, this is one of those great things. It's like trying to guess who Deep Throat was until we found out after he died. But this is really crucial, because it's this person's evidence.
Right.
That is a lot of what's about. Not just that there's checks, which is a paper trail, but this person saying, I was paid to do this, secretly.
Right, and Howie has mentioned maybe somebody who has some consulting background. I've heard other folks as well. So all sorts of speculations, and Howie's right. If this person is not already cooperating with the Feds are probably putting a pretty strong squeeze on this person to cooperate with them.
You're unindicted now.
Yes.
So this is yet another black eye for the Corporation Commission. We just had a hearing yesterday with Bob Burns, correct? I mean, it just never stops with these folks.
No, this has been, it's really starting with the campaigns. What was it in 2014, where there was a lot of dark money, and actually I think this FBI investigation, which apparently has led to these indictments, everybody knew that something was going on. The Feds were looking into something, and they thought a lot of this pointed back to that 2014 election, dark money that went into the Secretary of State's race, because Gary Pierce's son Justin was running for the Republican nomination for Secretary of State and was the recipient of a lot of money from sources who aren't required by law to disclose. There was also a lot of that kind of money going to Corporation Commission candidates.
Yes.
Yeah, and this is what's fascinating about FBI investigations. Remember, Tom Horn got in trouble on the thing we're going to be talking about because the FBI, looking into something else, came up with some communications between Tom Horn and Kathleen Wynne that supposedly dealt with his campaign. It's good to be an FBI official with a lot of subpoena powers.
Let's get to Tom Horn and this. Whoa, what a long-running case this is. These campaign violations back in what, 2010?
Right, and this all started with this accusation that an aide of Tom Horn, Kathleen Wynne, had an IE, an independent expenditure group, an outside group that's allowed to spend as much money as it wants on a candidate. That independent expenditure group had been coordinating with Tom Horn's campaign, and that's illegal under state law. And so there was an indictment. The Yavapai County Attorney's Office was the lead office on this one. Well, initially it was the Maricopa County's office, and it was pawned off to Yavapai. And there was a fine was leveled against the two of them, and there was an ALJ recommendation against the fine, basically saying, no, there's nothing wrong. And Tom Horn and Kathleen Wynne had been fighting this all the way to the Supreme Court.
And this is where it gets fascinating, because this is a civil matter. Under the procedures in the law, the administrative law judge, it's a hearing officer,
right,
who gets to review an appeal. Guess who gets to review the administrative law judge's issue? The same person, in this case Sheila Polk, Yavapai County Attorney, who first concluded that Tom Horn and Kathleen Wynne were guilty.
And we should say that this is, the Supreme Court did not rule here on merit.
No.
What the Supreme Court basically
no.
said was this idea of someone being judge, prosecutor, and sentenced, the whole 9 yards, that's not right.
And that's really the key, that you need an independent review. They said, look, if you have a hearing officer being reviewed by, let's say, a commission, the Liquor Commission, the Parks Board, Game and Fish, no problem. But you can't send it back to the person who brought the charges in the first place. What Sheila Polk said was, look, I read the hearing officer's report. I don't believe Kathleen Wynne's testimony is credible, her words.
Right.
She said, after the Supreme Court ruling came out, she said, look, I don't take it personally. I was following the law that the legislature put in. The legislature needs to fix the law, no problem.
Yeah. So what we have is now this case has been kicked back to the Attorney General's office, but Attorney General Mark Brnovich can't handle it because He was running against Tom Horne for Attorney General in 2014, and of course this issue came up. And
Right,
it's
and
one of the reasons that Horne didn't win.
Right,
Exactly.
one of the many cases that he was facing at that time, and ultimately led to his defeat.
Now, we should mention there's a separate probe of Tom Horne using his office as basically a campaign headquarters of sorts. That has nothing to do with this.
No, this is a separate ongoing investigation. There was a staffer within the AG's office who blew the whistle on this one and said, look, I've heard and I've seen basically the staffers of the AG, Tom Horne at that time, are the ones running his campaign.
So what's next in all this, Howie? Where do we go from here?
Well, at this point, as Mary Jo pointed out, it's gone to the Attorney General's office. The last time I spoke to the Attorney General spokeswoman, she said, we're trying to figure out what do we do now. Again, is Mark sufficiently removed from Tom? Mark Brnovich sufficiently removed from Tom to be able to review it? Does he hand it off to Solicitor General, who, while is Brnovich's employee, is technically sort of quasi-independent? Or do they farm it out yet to someone else who didn't handle it, another county attorney perhaps, to review the hearing officer's findings?
And on it goes.
And that's why we keep coming back here on Fridays.
Governor this week, basically his last day to act. He acted, signed a bunch of bills, vetoed a few. Give us an overview.
Lots of drama here at the deadline. The highlight, at least from the governor's perspective, is he signed the university bonding bill, which was no surprise, because the governor had pushed hard for this, but he wanted to put together a ceremony, and he brought in university officials, and he brought in all these brightly colored university mascots, who, outsized mascots that stood around and smiled and applauded while he signed this bill that will give the universities $1 billion in capacity, bonding capacity, over the next 10 years to build and maintain buildings.
$30 million for the next 10 years, each year. That's a big deal. But again, the universities have to kick in some money on their own. But in terms of repairs, new building, these sorts of things, it's a big deal.
It is a very big deal. The fact of the matter is that the universities, as we've referred to them over the years, have been sort of the neglected child of the state. They have their funding has been cut. They've been forced to raise tuition fees. They've come to the legislature before and said, look, we got this new funding model, and we think we can work this thing out. That funding model hasn't really been funded by the legislature. So this is a big win for the university.
Except for the fact that we're ignoring the other half of it. While the university has been spending tuition money and everything else on construction, the universities are currently getting state aid equal to perhaps 38% of what it costs to educate an Arizona resident student. That is half of what it was a decade ago. And so, the argument by people like Michael Crow, ASU president, is, well, if we can get it back to 50%, we think we're okay. But again, that will take $240 million, which so far the legislature is unwilling to fund.
Wasn't there $99 million, something like this, cut a couple of years ago? I mean,
2 years ago.
Nothing restored there, correct?
I think they got $8 million back last year.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Right, they had some one-time money again this year. There's one-time money for the Freedom.
Oh yes, the Freedom Schools.
Freedom Schools at the
Yes,
university.
yes. Okay. All right. So the university's got and a big hullabaloo there.
A big tax. It's not terribly big. In fact, it's a bill that allows more tax credits aimed at manufacturers. In fact, this was championed in part by lobbyist Jim Norton. But it's hard to get a dollar amount on this. Estimates varied wildly, and then they changed it. The Legislative Council or the Budget Office will score it. They scored it, but it was subsequently changed. So after the bill was signed, I called back. I said, well, what's the tab now?
Yeah.
We didn't look at it. So, it's a couple million.
And there's one more little tax cut in there. This is the culmination of efforts by people like Mark Fincham and some of his colleagues to say, if I invest in U.S. gold coins and I buy them for $1,000, and I sell them for $2,000, we're not going to subject that to capital gains. This is a small break for a very discrete group. And I asked the governor, I said, how can you do this? Well, it's just a tiny group and it's not as bad as prior bills. But you don't get the same tax break if you're collecting pennies and sell it. You don't get it for art. You don't get it for classic cars. But somehow they convinced the governor that this is really the tax break we want to give.
$10 million tax credit for investing in small business included as well. Now, the temporary assistance to needy families, that was signed this week as well. This is one of those, helps, but it helps with some strings, correct?
Right. So 2 years ago, the legislature passed a bill that cut the eligibility time frame for needy families to 1 year from 2 years. Well, what happened then was that it messed up our finances. We were not getting as much money as a result. The matching funds coming from the feds were not as big as we wanted it. So there's a financial incentive to restore this to 2 years, and the Democrats were pushing for it. But the bill that the governor signed has, as you noted, strings attached. And the Democrats had been complaining that it makes it so much difficult for these families to stay on and get this benefit. And they're saying, well, you know, it's going to be tough for these families to stay on. Now, they got some sort of an assurance from the governor's office that the state agencies will work to ensure that these families are able to stay on.
Yeah. I sort of call it a carrot with a stick right there, because it does expand the program back to 2 years of lifetime eligibility, but the restrictions are tighter, and they, especially in the first year of the program, you used to get 3 strikes. Beginning next year, it'll be 2 strikes, which means you make 1 error and you make your second error and you're off the assistance. And it's one more thing, it's just important to note that the temporary assistance for needy family programs goes to low-income families who are raising kids, and the state's own statistics show that about 80% of the beneficiaries are kids.
Yeah.
And it's still the strictest in the country, even with this extension.
Still the strictest in the country. Couple of vetoes to talk about. You know, guess wouldn't be a year without a few vetoes. One is the governor vetoed a widely liked change in how teachers are certified, so that the teacher isn't marked down because a kid fails a test in a subject that the teacher didn't teach. Poor Sonny Borelli was trying to legalize the growing of hemp. You know, remember, it's rope, not dope. And the governor said nope.
Nope.
And then the student journalist bill, which is interesting. This would affect not only college journalists, but high school journalists, and it was extend to them certain protections against the administration coming in saying, not that story. And what the governor said is, look, you know, these are children and they need adult supervision. And he wasn't satisfied with the fact that there is an adult advisor for the newspaper. And it took a lot of people by surprise, since it passed unanimously in the Senate and got 41 votes in the House.
Yeah. Right. And the fascinating thing about it is we learned that Kimberly Yee, the author of this bill, was a budding cartoonist when she was in high school.
And was censored, which is why she had the bill.
Oh, all right. So it now makes 11, I think, vetoes.
Right.
That doesn't sound like a lot.
No, it's not. And I think it's one of the lowest vetoes in a year. And the governor had, a couple of 20 bills vetoed in his first year in office. Last year he vetoed 14, and now 11, so it's pretty low. But then, you know, this year the fight really were more about policy issues, and there weren't a whole lot of bills to begin with, and so maybe that explains it. But you know, this is the one of those years where you have very few bills getting vetoed.
Clarence Carter, the former DES chief here in Arizona, left under tough circumstances, has joined the Trump administration.
Yeah, Carter submitted his resignation like at the same time that Ducey was taking the oath of office. I think, you know, he got the message that his presence was no longer needed, and went off and did some stuff on his own, and now he is the head of the Office of, I always forget the names of these federal agencies, but within Health and Human Services, it's Family Assistance.
The Office of Family Assistance. So basically he looks over child care, refugee settlement, and temporary assistance to needy families.
Yes. Well, what's interesting is, remember that Clarence Carter got in trouble not over welfare. He got in trouble because his agency was also supervising what was then Child Protective Services, which was that whole issue of the thousands of non-investigated cases, and that he came across eventually, but the buck stops here. So I don't think there was any question that, you know, that he did anything else wrong. He didn't leave under a cloud for anything he did other than that whole problem with CPS. And so, you know, you get a high-profile official from Arizona in the administration, and he may do very competently.
He was there. He worked for the Bush administration.
It's a return to Washington, D.C. You're right. He worked in the George W. Bush administration.
Now, Luigi, we do have a new DES director. Now, Child Protective Services, what was Child Protective Services that was a big problem for Carter, that has been moved obviously now to Child Protective Services.
Department of Child Safety.
Yeah,
yes.
that thing.
Yeah.
Not in DES anymore.
No.
But DES still gets a new director because they can't seem to find anyone, at least not a full-timer.
You know, the fact of the matter is that even if the Child Protective Services unit has been carved out, DES is still one of the biggest agencies of the state. It is in charge of welfare and benefits and all those. And so, you know, the former chief of DES was colorful, I guess one way to put it.
He was fired, Luigi.
He was courted.
What do you mean colorful? He had an arm stash of guns and ammunition in the basement. That's not colorful. That's dangerous.
He put I think what do you call those? A smiley face on
the bollards.
The bollards,
big concrete
in front of DES, and you know he had those videos those video greetings every morning to his staffers. So yeah, colorful, and so the new chief of DES is Michael Traylor, who's former head of the housing department of the state, been appointed by Jan Brewer, and came from the sort of the real estate housing industry.
Not quite as colorful?
Well, not yet.
How often have you read his name as director of the Department of Housing?
This was one of those nationwide searches that led, ooh, hey, he's already here.
All right, so we got it. Let's hope that we never mention his name on the program, because that means something might be going right with DES. Who is Jesus Rubalcaba?
He is a state representative, a freshman, and he is on the radar of the public campaign finance system, the Citizens Clean Elections Commission. They did an audit of his finances that he received from the public campaign finance system and found that a lot of stuff just didn't add up, and Representative Rubalcaba has been unable to provide the receipts and the documents to support.
And that's really the key, because what Clean Elections likes is, well, where's the receipt? You say you did this. Where's the receipt? Where did the money go? You know, mixing your campaign money with your personal account, that's a definite no-no there.
And this, so we got an audit, random audit, followed up by a stronger audit. Lots of questions here. He could be bounced from office, could he not?
Yes, he could be the third legislator bounced from office as a result of Clean Elections violations, because as Howie mentioned, one of the things he did was he commingled his funds, which is a no-no at the Clean Elections Commission. He initially put the Clean Elections money into a personal account and transferred it into his campaign finance account. Campaign account, but left some money in his personal account and did, you know, a couple of spending that Clean Elections said, well, you know, something's going on here, because he was spending money on hotel flights, you know, trips, etc. And he hasn't denied any of these. He basically said, yep, I screwed up.
So sloppy accounting, right? Is that the idea?
Well, and he can't find the receipts because everything was in a box at the school where he teaches in Buckeye, and his classroom was moved not once but twice during the holiday season. It got lost. So, you know, this matter is now basically the executive director of the commission will have to decide, you know, where to take this further.
How soon? I mean, could he be out by the next session?
These things tend to take a long time.
It's a long process.
And I will say that, you know, we all like to focus on the removal from office because that's, you know, it's pretty sexy. But there are fines.
Yes, like 10 times the amount, correct?
Correct, and it's that they found $9,000 in discrepancies. So
that's going to be hard for him to find.
Yeah, at $24,000 a year as a legislator.
Yes.
Right, so what's probably going to happen is that the Democratic Party is probably going to lean in and make sure that he doesn't run for re-election, because if they go through the process, it's going to take a while. I mean, remember Doug Quellen? He fought for, you know, a number of years.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap it up, Howie, with what happened up in Montana. We had a lawmaker body slamming a reporter. It wasn't you.
Yes,
maybe next time. But Trent Franks, Arizona Congressman Trent Franks, just had to comment on this.
Couldn't help himself, which is really fascinating. Trent Franks is one of the most gentle lawmakers I'd ever dealt with. I mean, I would get into philosophical and questioning him, stick a microphone in his face, and it always ended with, and God bless you too. Yet he somehow decided that this reporter was partly at fault, and the whole liberal left, for changing the tenor of the conversation. Well, wait a second. Who changed the tenor of the conversation? Was it the left? Was it the right? I mean, the fact is, and even this lawmaker, this now newly elected lawmaker, originally said, well, it wasn't my fault. And then today, after he's elected, well, yeah, gee, I'm sorry. He's facing assault charges. How do you even make that decision? Unless, if Trent had been there and witnessed something, you could say something. But to just, you know, spit
Blame
this
the
out
liberal,
at the liberal media.
Well, shares blame the tense confrontational approach throughout the country in recent months.
Well,
But physical violence as a response to somebody, you know, keeping after you and asking you a question that, is pertinent to your would-be congressional duties, like what do you think about the price tag on the American Health Care Act? That's fair game question.
But let me come to the other side of that. You want to talk blame? Have you seen the videos of the Trump rallies where he's telling people in the audience, well, get that person out of here. You know, you can hit that person. If you get arrested, I will back you. So tell me who is responsible for the demeanor. It's
very disturbing when a reporter who's asking a question gets body slammed for doing his job.
Yeah, well, yeah, no kidding. Yeah, and we'll see what happens after.
I'm keeping my gym membership.
Are you? Good for you. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Monday on Arizona Horizon, join us for a Memorial Day special as we honor Arizona veterans who served our nation. A special Memorial Day edition of Arizona Horizon, Monday at 5:30 and 10 right here on Arizona Horizon. That is it for now. I'm Ted Simons. Thank you so much for joining us. You have a great weekend.
Arizona Horizon is made possible by contributions from the Friends of Arizona PBS, members of your PBS station. Thank you.
of the Valley has been providing quality care at home since 1977. Not for profit, for comfort.
Whitfill Nursery, proud to support Arizona PBS, a Valley tradition since 1946. Over 200 acres of Arizona-grown trees, citrus, and palms. Complete custom design and installation. And Whitfill Nursery still does the digging. WhitfillNursery.com.
Hi, I'm Alberto Rios. This week on Books & Company, Lawrence Krauss talking about his latest book, The Greatest Story Ever Told So Far.
One of the things that's so amazing about the story is it shows us that the universe that we experience is really an illusion.
Don't miss an all-new Books & Company tonight at 11:30 on Arizona PBS.
Explore new ideas and new worlds here on Arizona PBS, a community service of Arizona State University.
See this flower garden? There used to be a car sitting there, a car I didn't use and didn't want. So I donated it to public television, and they took care of everything. In addition to supporting my favorite programs, I earned a tax deduction. Turn something you don't need into something you really want. Contact the Vehicle Donation Program.
Coming up next on Arizona PBS, Life and World. When you want to be more connected, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, watch us online. Coming soon to Arizona PBS.
Next time on A Place to Call Home.
I didn't come back for James.
Harry's